What if everything society has told you about what makes a woman beautiful is incomplete? What if the qualities that truly captivate people can't be bought, filtered, or seen in a mirror? The women who leave the deepest impression on others are rarely remembered because of perfect features. They are remembered because of the way they make people feel. Today, we're going to uncover the 6 qualities that define a truly lovely woman, not through appearance, but through character. Because beauty may catch someone's attention, but character captures their heart. One of the greatest misconceptions in modern life is that confidence comes from external approval. We are surrounded by messages telling us that our value depends on how many people admire us, how attractive we appear, how successful we look, or how often we receive recognition. But these things are temporary. Praise comes and goes. Trends change, opinions shift. If your sense of worth depends on something that constantly changes, your confidence will always feel fragile. A truly lovely woman understands this. She builds her identity on something far stronger than public approval. She knows who she is before anyone else tells her who she should be. This kind of confidence is quiet. It doesn't demand attention or seek applause. It isn't loud because it doesn't need to prove anything. There is a remarkable strength in someone who walks into a room without feeling the need to impress everyone inside it. She doesn't compare herself to every person she meets. She doesn't measure her success by whether she is the smartest, the most fashionable, or the most admired. Instead, she focuses on becoming the best version of herself. That inner peace creates a presence that people naturally notice. Think about the people who have made the biggest impact on your life. Chances are you don't remember them because they had perfect appearances. You remember them because they carried themselves with authenticity. They were comfortable being themselves. They weren't constantly changing their personality to fit into different groups or pretending to be someone they weren't. That authenticity is rare, and because it is rare, it becomes unforgettable. Knowing your worth also means refusing to let rejection define your identity. Every person experiences disappointment. Every person faces criticism. Sometimes people misunderstand us. Sometimes opportunities disappear. Sometimes relationships end. A woman who depends entirely on external validation begins to question her value every time one of these moments happens. She starts believing that rejection means she isn't enough. But a lovely woman sees rejection differently. She understands that not every opportunity is meant for her. Not every relationship is healthy, and not every opinion deserves space in her heart. She learns from life's experiences without allowing them to determine her self-worth. This mindset changes the way she makes decisions. Instead of asking, "Will everyone approve of this?" she asks, "Does this align with my values?" That single shift transforms everything. It gives her the courage to say no when necessary. It helps her establish healthy boundaries without feeling guilty. She understands that protecting her peace is not selfish, it is essential. She realizes that constantly sacrificing her own well-being to please others eventually leaves her exhausted and disconnected from herself. There is also tremendous freedom in accepting that you cannot please everyone. Many people spend years chasing acceptance from people who will never appreciate them. They become trapped in an endless cycle of trying harder, changing more, and hiding parts of themselves just to fit someone else's expectations. But true confidence begins when you stop asking for permission to be yourself. A lovely woman recognizes that authenticity attracts the right people, while pretending only attracts temporary approval. She would rather be respected for who she truly is than admired for someone she is pretending to become. This confidence also influences the way she treats other people. When someone knows their own worth, they don't feel threatened by another person's success. They don't become jealous every time someone else achieves something meaningful. Instead, they celebrate the victories of others because they understand that another person's light does not diminish their own. Secure people inspire. Insecure people compete. A lovely woman chooses inspiration over comparison because she understands that life is not a competition, but a journey of continual growth. She also accepts that growth never ends. Knowing your worth doesn't mean believing you are perfect. It means recognizing that your value exists even while you are learning, improving, and overcoming weaknesses. She welcomes feedback without allowing criticism to destroy her confidence. She can admit mistakes because her identity is not built on appearing flawless. She understands that humility and confidence can exist together. In fact, they strengthen each other. Perhaps the most beautiful part of knowing your worth is the peace it creates. When you stop chasing validation, you stop living under the pressure of constant performance. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself in every conversation or seek approval in every decision. You become free to live with integrity, purpose, and authenticity. And that freedom becomes visible. It appears in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you face challenges, and the way you encourage others. Physical beauty may attract attention for a moment, but inner confidence built on genuine self-worth leaves a lasting impression that time can never erase. Kindness is often misunderstood in today's world. Many people believe that if you are kind, you are weak. They assume that kindness means allowing people to take advantage of you, staying silent when you should speak, or constantly putting everyone else's needs before your own. But real kindness has nothing to do with weakness. In fact, kindness is one of the strongest qualities a person can possess because it requires self-control, patience, empathy, and courage. A truly lovely woman understands that kindness is not something she turns on when life is easy. It is a choice she makes every day, especially when life becomes difficult. Think about the people who have changed your life the most. Chances are, they weren't the loudest voices in the room or the people trying to prove how important they were. More often than not, they were individuals who listened when others ignored you. They offered encouragement when you doubted yourself. They treated you with dignity, even when they had nothing to gain. Those moments of kindness leave a mark that lasts far longer than any physical appearance ever could. A lovely woman recognizes that every person is fighting a battle that may not be visible. Someone may smile while carrying deep pain. Another person may seem confident while struggling with fear or loneliness. Instead of rushing to judge people by their behavior alone, she chooses to respond with compassion. This doesn't mean she excuses harmful actions or ignores unhealthy behavior. It means she remembers that understanding someone is often more powerful than condemning them. Kindness also appears in the words she chooses. Words have incredible power. They can build confidence or destroy it. They can heal emotional wounds or create them. A lovely woman understands this responsibility. She doesn't speak carelessly simply because everyone else does. She avoids gossip because she knows it damages both the speaker and the listener. She refuses to tear others down to make herself feel better. Instead, she uses her words to encourage, to teach, to comfort, and to inspire. Her conversations leave people feeling stronger rather than smaller. One of the greatest signs of inner strength is remaining kind when others are not. Anyone can be polite when everything is going well. The true test of character comes when someone disagrees with you, criticizes you, or treats you unfairly. At those moments, it is easy to respond with anger or revenge. But a lovely woman understands that reacting emotionally often creates more pain than peace. She chooses wisdom over impulse. She knows that responding with dignity protects her own character, regardless of someone else's behavior. This doesn't mean she allows disrespect to continue. Kindness and healthy boundaries work together. She can firmly say no without becoming cruel. She can walk away from toxic situations without hatred. She can forgive without allowing repeated harm. True kindness is not about pleasing everyone. It is about treating people with respect while also respecting yourself. There is a quiet confidence in someone who can be both compassionate and strong. Kindness is also reflected in small, ordinary moments that many people overlook. Holding the door for someone, expressing gratitude, offering sincere compliments, listening without interrupting, remembering someone's name, or simply asking how another person is doing. These simple acts may seem insignificant, but together they create a powerful impact. People rarely remember every detail of a conversation, but they almost always remember how someone made them feel. A lovely woman understands that greatness is often built through consistent small actions rather than dramatic gestures. Another beautiful quality of kindness is that it creates trust. People naturally feel safe around someone who treats others with fairness and compassion. They know they won't be judged for every mistake or embarrassed for every weakness. This emotional safety strengthens relationships, whether in friendships, family, or the workplace. Trust cannot be demanded. It must be earned. Kindness becomes one of the strongest foundations upon which lasting relationships are built. There is another reason kindness is so powerful. It is contagious. One genuine act of compassion often inspires another. A smile can brighten someone's difficult day. Encouragement can restore confidence in someone who is ready to give up. Forgiveness can break a cycle of resentment that has lasted for years. We often underestimate how deeply our actions influence the lives of people around us. A lovely woman understands that she may never fully know the impact of her kindness, but she chooses it anyway because it reflects the kind of person she wants to become. Perhaps the greatest strength of kindness is that it never loses its value. Physical beauty changes with time. Achievements may be forgotten. Success can rise and fall. But people never forget genuine kindness. They remember the person who believed in them when no one else did. They remember the one who listened without judgment, encouraged without expecting anything in return, and treated them with dignity when they felt invisible. That kind of beauty does not depend on appearance, age, or circumstance. It grows stronger with every passing year. A truly lovely woman understands that while beauty may capture someone's attention for a moment, kindness captures their heart for a lifetime. One of the greatest traps people fall into is believing they must be perfect before they can live a meaningful life. They delay their dreams until they feel more confident. They wait to take action until they have every answer. They compare themselves to others and become convinced that everyone else has life figured out while they are somehow falling behind. But perfection is an illusion. No one reaches a point where they stop learning, growing, or making mistakes. A truly lovely woman understands this. Instead of chasing perfection, she chooses to live with purpose. That single decision changes the way she sees herself and the world around her. Purpose gives direction to life. It answers a question that many people avoid asking: why am I doing what I'm doing? Without purpose, it is easy to become distracted by other people's expectations. You begin chasing goals simply because society tells you they matter. You pursue success because everyone else seems to be doing the same. You try to fit into standards that were never designed for you. But purpose creates clarity. It helps you recognize what truly matters and gives you the courage to let go of everything that doesn't. A lovely woman does not wake up every morning trying to impress the world. She wakes up asking how she can become a better version of herself and make a positive difference in the lives of others. She understands that real fulfillment comes not from being admired, but from living a life that reflects her values. Her purpose becomes the foundation for every decision she makes. It influences how she spends her time, how she treats people, and how she responds when life becomes difficult. One of the beautiful things about purpose is that it allows someone to embrace imperfection. When your goal is growth instead of perfection, mistakes no longer become reasons to quit. Instead, they become opportunities to learn. Every setback teaches a lesson. Every challenge builds resilience. Every failure provides wisdom that success alone could never offer. A lovely woman is not afraid of making mistakes because she understands they are part of becoming the person she is meant to be. Think about some of the most inspiring individuals throughout history. None of them lived perfect lives. They experienced rejection, criticism, disappointment, and failure. Yet they continued moving forward because they were driven by something greater than comfort or recognition. Their purpose gave them strength when circumstances became difficult. In the same way, a lovely woman finds courage, not because life is always easy, but because she has something meaningful to live for. Living with purpose also changes the way she measures success. Society often defines success by appearance, wealth, popularity, or status. While those things may have value, they are temporary and often outside our control. Purpose shifts the focus toward impact rather than image. She begins asking different questions. Instead of wondering, how many people noticed me today? She asks, did I encourage someone today? Did I grow today? Did I stay true to my values today? Those questions lead to a much richer and more meaningful life. Purpose also protects her from the endless cycle of comparison. Comparison is exhausting because there will always be someone who appears more successful, more talented, or more accomplished. But when you understand your own purpose, someone else's journey no longer threatens yours. Just as every flower blooms in its own season, every person has a unique path. A lovely woman celebrates the success of others without feeling diminished because she knows her purpose is not meant to look exactly like anyone else's. Another remarkable quality of purpose is that it creates resilience. Life is unpredictable. There will be seasons of uncertainty, heartbreak, disappointment, and unexpected change. Without purpose, these moments can cause people to lose hope. They begin questioning everything because they have no deeper reason to keep moving forward. But purpose acts like an anchor during life's storms. It reminds a lovely woman that difficult seasons do not define her destination. They are simply part of the journey. She learns to adapt without giving up and to remain hopeful even when the path ahead is unclear. Living with purpose also inspires consistency. Motivation comes and goes because emotions change from day to day. Some mornings you feel energized, and other mornings you don't. Purpose, however, does not depend on feelings. It reminds you why your actions matter even when they are difficult. A lovely woman understands that meaningful progress is built through small, faithful steps taken over time. She does not wait until she feels inspired to act. She acts because she knows her purpose is greater than her temporary emotions. Perhaps the most beautiful result of living with purpose is the legacy it creates. Physical beauty fades. Achievements may eventually be forgotten. Even fame can disappear with time, but the impact you have on other people's lives continues long after you are gone. The kindness you shared, the encouragement you offered, the wisdom you passed on, and the lives you influenced become your true legacy. A truly lovely woman understands that her greatest success will never be measured by how perfect she appeared, but by how faithfully she lived according to her purpose. That is the kind of beauty that grows stronger with every passing year and leaves an impression that no mirror could ever reflect. One of the clearest signs of a truly lovely woman is not how she reacts when everything is going well, but how she responds when life becomes difficult. Anyone can appear calm when circumstances are comfortable. Anyone can be pleasant when people agree with them. But emotional maturity is revealed during moments of conflict, disappointment, misunderstanding, and pressure. It is in those moments that true character shines. A lovely woman understands that while she cannot always control what happens around her, she can always choose how she responds. Emotional maturity begins with self-awareness. Before trying to understand others, she takes the time to understand herself. She recognizes her strengths without becoming arrogant, and she acknowledges her weaknesses without allowing them to define her. She knows what triggers her emotions, what brings her peace, and what values guide her decisions. This self-awareness allows her to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. She understands that every emotion carries a message, but not every emotion should control her actions. Many people mistake emotional maturity for hiding their feelings, but the two are very different. Suppressing emotions often leads to resentment, frustration, and emotional distance. A lovely woman is honest about how she feels, yet she expresses those feelings with wisdom and respect. She understands that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It takes courage to admit when you are hurt, disappointed, or uncertain. Instead of pretending to be strong all the time, she embraces honesty because genuine relationships are built on truth, not perfection. One of the greatest qualities of emotional maturity is the ability to pause before responding. In today's fast-moving world, people often react instantly. A harsh comment is met with another harsh comment. An insult is answered with anger. A disagreement quickly turns into an argument. But a lovely woman understands that not every situation requires an immediate response. Sometimes the wisest choice is to pause, reflect, and choose words that bring clarity rather than conflict. She knows that a few moments of patience can prevent years of regret. This thoughtful approach becomes especially important in relationships. Whether with family, friends, colleagues, or a partner, disagreements are inevitable. No two people see life exactly the same way. Emotional maturity does not eliminate conflict, but it changes how conflict is handled. Instead of trying to win every argument, a lovely woman seeks understanding. She listens carefully before speaking. She asks questions instead of making assumptions. She focuses on solving the problem rather than attacking the person. This creates trust because people feel heard, respected, and valued, even during difficult conversations. Another powerful sign of emotional maturity is the willingness to accept responsibility. It is easy to blame others when something goes wrong. Pride often convinces people that admitting mistakes will make them appear weak. Yet the opposite is true. It takes confidence to say, "I was wrong," or "I could have handled that better." A lovely woman understands that taking responsibility strengthens relationships rather than weakening them. People naturally respect someone who is humble enough to learn from their mistakes instead of constantly defending them. Forgiveness is another expression of emotional maturity. Every person experiences hurt. Words are spoken that cannot be taken back. Trust is sometimes broken. Disappointment becomes part of every life. Holding on to bitterness may seem justified, but over time it becomes a heavy burden. A lovely woman understands that forgiveness is not about pretending the pain never happened or allowing unhealthy behavior to continue. Instead, forgiveness is the decision to release the grip that resentment has on her heart. She chooses peace over bitterness because she refuses to let someone else's actions control her future. Emotional maturity also means setting healthy boundaries. Many people believe that being loving requires saying yes to everything and everyone. In reality, constantly neglecting your own needs often leads to exhaustion and resentment. A lovely woman understands that boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are guidelines that protect healthy relationships. She knows when to give generously and when to step back. She can say no with kindness and confidence because she realizes that respecting herself allows her to genuinely care for others. Another beautiful quality is her ability to remain steady during life's storms. Challenges are unavoidable. Plans fail. Relationships change. Unexpected losses occur. While these moments affect her deeply, they do not completely define her. She allows herself to grieve, to reflect, and to heal, but she does not lose hope. Her emotional stability comes from knowing that difficult seasons are temporary and that growth often emerges from adversity. Instead of becoming consumed by fear, she chooses resilience. She believes that every challenge carries an opportunity to become wiser, stronger, and more compassionate. Perhaps the greatest gift of emotional maturity is the sense of peace it brings into every relationship. People feel safe around someone who responds with patience instead of anger, understanding instead of judgment, and honesty instead of manipulation. They know they can be themselves without constantly fearing criticism or rejection. That kind of emotional safety is rare, and it becomes one of the most beautiful qualities a person can possess. A truly lovely woman is remembered not because she never faced difficulties, but because of the grace, wisdom, and compassion she displayed while facing them. Her calm presence becomes a source of strength for those around her, proving that true beauty is found not in flawless appearances, but in a heart that has learned to respond with maturity, kindness, and unwavering character. Integrity is one of the rarest qualities in the world today, yet it is also one of the most valuable. It cannot be purchased, borrowed, or imitated for long. It is revealed through consistent choices, especially when no one is watching. A truly lovely woman understands that her character is far more important than her reputation. Reputation is what people think about you, but character is who you truly are when there is no audience to applaud or criticize your actions. She knows that lasting respect is not earned by saying the right things, but by living according to the values she believes in every single day. In a world where appearances are often given more attention than authenticity, it is easy to become focused on looking successful rather than becoming trustworthy. Social media encourages people to display carefully edited versions of their lives. Many feel pressured to impress others, even if it means pretending to be someone they are not. But a lovely woman chooses authenticity over performance. She understands that there is great freedom in being honest about who she is. She does not need to create a false image because she knows that real confidence comes from living truthfully. Integrity begins with honesty. This means speaking the truth even when it is uncomfortable and refusing to deceive others simply for personal gain. Honesty is not always easy. There are moments when telling the truth may cost opportunities, popularity, or convenience. Yet a lovely woman understands that every dishonest shortcut eventually carries a much greater price than temporary discomfort. Trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild. That is why she values honesty as one of the strongest foundations of every relationship. Her integrity is also reflected in the promises she makes. She does not give her word carelessly. If she commits to something, she follows through as faithfully as possible. She understands that reliability is one of the greatest expressions of respect. People know they can depend on her because her actions consistently match her words. In a world where many promises are forgotten as quickly as they are spoken, someone who keeps their commitments becomes exceptionally valuable. Another beautiful aspect of integrity is consistency. Many people behave differently depending on who they are with. They adjust their values to fit the opinions of each group they encounter. They become one person at work, another among friends, and someone entirely different in private. A lovely woman refuses to live this divided life. She remains true to her principles regardless of the environment she is in. Her kindness is not reserved only for people who can benefit her. Her respect is not limited to those with influence or status. She treats every individual with dignity because her values are not determined by circumstances but by character. Integrity also requires courage. There will always be moments when doing the right thing is unpopular. Standing for honesty may invite criticism. Choosing fairness may cost personal advantage. Defending someone who is being treated unfairly may require tremendous bravery. A lovely woman understands that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act according to her values despite fear. She would rather lose approval than compromise her principles because she knows that temporary success gained through dishonesty is never worth sacrificing her integrity. One of the greatest tests of integrity appears when no one is watching. It is easy to make ethical decisions when people are observing, but character is truly revealed in private moments. The choices made in silence often shape the future more than the choices made in public. A lovely woman understands that the habits she develops in private become the foundation of the life she builds in public. She does not seek recognition for doing what is right because her motivation comes from her own values rather than from applause. Integrity also shapes the way she responds to mistakes. She does not hide behind excuses or blame others for her failures. Instead, she accepts responsibility with humility. She is willing to admit when she is wrong because she understands that acknowledging mistakes is a sign of strength, not weakness. This honesty creates trust because people recognize that she values truth more than protecting her pride. Ironically, admitting imperfections often earns greater respect than pretending to be flawless. Another remarkable quality of integrity is that it brings peace of mind. Living a dishonest life requires constant effort. Lies must be remembered, appearances must be maintained, and false images must continually be protected. This creates emotional exhaustion. A lovely woman experiences a different kind of freedom. Because she has nothing to hide, she sleeps peacefully knowing that her actions align with her beliefs. She is not consumed by the fear of being exposed because she has chosen authenticity over deception. Integrity also influences the people around her. Without speaking a single word, she becomes an example of what honesty, faithfulness, and responsibility look like. Family members, friends, colleagues, and even strangers notice the consistency of her character. Her example quietly encourages others to live with greater honesty and courage. Leadership is not always about having authority. Often, it is about setting an example that inspires others to become better. Perhaps the most enduring quality of integrity is that it creates a legacy built on trust. Physical beauty changes with time. Success may come and go. Recognition fades, and achievements are eventually replaced by new accomplishments. But the memory of a person whose words matched their actions remains in the hearts of others for generations. People remember those they could trust, those who stood for what was right even when it was difficult, and those whose character remained steady through every season of life. A truly lovely woman understands that while beauty may capture attention for a moment, integrity earns respect for a lifetime. It becomes the invisible strength that supports every relationship, every decision, and every opportunity, proving that the most beautiful life is one built on unwavering character and uncompromising truth. The women who leave the greatest impact on the world are rarely the ones who spend their lives trying to impress everyone. Instead, they are the ones who live with authenticity. They understand that influence is not something you chase. It is something you earn through the way you live. A truly lovely woman inspires others not because she demands attention, but because her character naturally draws people toward what is good, hopeful, and genuine. She doesn't wake up each morning asking, "How can I make people admire me?" She asks, "How can I become someone who brings light into the lives of others?" That simple difference changes everything. Authenticity is one of the rarest qualities in today's world. Many people feel pressured to wear masks. They pretend to be stronger than they are, happier than they are, or more successful than they are because they fear rejection. Social media often encourages people to create carefully edited versions of their lives, making it seem as though perfection is the standard everyone should achieve. But a lovely woman understands that pretending to be someone else is exhausting. She realizes that the right people will appreciate her for who she truly is, not for the image she creates. She chooses honesty over performance and authenticity over approval. Because she is comfortable with herself, she gives others permission to be comfortable with themselves as well. There is something deeply refreshing about being around someone who is genuine. You don't feel the need to compete with them or prove your worth. Instead, you feel accepted. That is one of the greatest gifts a lovely woman offers to the people around her. Her authenticity creates an atmosphere where others feel safe enough to be real, to admit their struggles, and to pursue growth without fear of judgment. Another reason she inspires others is that she celebrates people instead of competing with them. In a world filled with comparison, jealousy, and constant competition, this quality stands out. She understands that another person's success is not her failure. When someone achieves something wonderful, she sincerely celebrates their victory. She encourages them, applauds their efforts, and shares in their joy. Her confidence is rooted in her own purpose, so she never feels threatened by someone else's accomplishments. This attitude builds strong relationships because people naturally enjoy being around those who genuinely want them to succeed. A lovely woman also inspires through resilience. Life has not spared her from hardship. She has experienced disappointment, loss, uncertainty, and moments when giving up seemed easier than moving forward. Yet she continues to rise. Not because she is fearless, but because she refuses to let difficult seasons define her future. People who watch her journey begin to realize that strength is not about avoiding pain. Strength is about continuing with hope, even when the path is difficult. Her perseverance quietly reminds others that they, too, can overcome the obstacles they face. She also leads through humility. The most influential people rarely believe they have all the answers. A lovely woman remains teachable throughout her life. She listens more than she speaks. She welcomes new ideas and learns from people of all backgrounds. She is not embarrassed to ask questions or admit when she doesn't know something. This humility makes her wisdom even more powerful because people know it comes from a heart that continues to grow. Instead of pretending to be perfect, she demonstrates that lifelong learning is one of the greatest strengths anyone can possess. Her influence is also seen in the way she serves others. She understands that greatness is not measured by how many people serve you, but by how many lives you help improve. Whether she is encouraging a friend, supporting her family, mentoring someone younger, or simply offering a kind word to a stranger, she recognizes that every act of service matters. She does not help others because she expects praise in return. She helps because compassion has become part of her character. These small acts often become unforgettable moments in someone else's life. One of the most inspiring qualities of a lovely woman is her ability to remain true to her values, regardless of changing circumstances. She does not compromise her integrity simply because it is convenient. She chooses honesty even when deception would be easier. She chooses kindness when bitterness seems justified. She chooses forgiveness when resentment feels natural. These decisions are not always easy, but they reveal a strength of character that inspires everyone who observes her life. People may forget her words, but they will remember the example she consistently set. Her presence also has a calming effect on others. In a world filled with noise, stress, and constant distraction, she becomes someone who brings peace instead of chaos. She listens carefully before responding. She avoids unnecessary drama. She offers thoughtful advice rather than quick criticism. People begin seeking her guidance not because she claims to be extraordinary, but because her steady character earns their trust. Her influence grows naturally because it is built on wisdom rather than attention. Perhaps the most beautiful thing about inspiring others simply by being yourself is that it creates a legacy that outlives appearances. Physical beauty changes over time. Fashion trends come and go. Achievements eventually become history. But the lives touched by genuine character continue to carry that influence forward. The encouragement she offered becomes someone else's confidence. The kindness she showed becomes another person's compassion. The courage she demonstrated gives someone else the strength to face their own challenges. Her life becomes a chain reaction of goodness that continues long after the moment has passed. In the end, the real signs of a lovely woman have never been found in beauty or outward appearance. They are found in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing her worth, the kindness she extends, without expecting anything in return, the purpose that guides her decisions, the emotional maturity that strengthens every relationship, the integrity that shapes every choice, and the authenticity that inspires others to become the best versions of themselves. These qualities never fade with time. They grow richer through every season of life, leaving an impact that reaches far beyond what the eyes can see. That is true beauty. That is lasting influence. And that is the kind of woman the world will always remember.